Hey guys, thank you for joining us. My name is Jaunel Mckenzie, and this is David Souza, my amazing friend. He's also an agent. He owns an agency in Mexico called Paragon, which he started a million years ago. I'm joking. He started it 10 years ago, and he's doing what? And he's doing like some great things in Mexico. And I just grabbed him, and I wanted to just talk to him about what's going on in the industry and see how we can just come out of this industry on top and come out doing really well. So hi, David. Welcome.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi. So one of my first question, because sent you that article yesterday that the
Yes.
Model Alliance posted, and I just wanted to talk a bit about that because a lot of models now are out of a job. They don't know what's going on. They're not getting any communications from their agencies, according to that article. So what can models focus on now?
Okay, so I think it's going to be a really rough time for the industry in general, for the fashion industry, and definitely for the modeling industry. I think we're all going through the same thing. Like me as an agent, like agencies, clients are not paying us what they owe us because they're just holding on to their money because they also don't know when they're going to make some money. Right. So everybody's kind of on the same boat, and there's not much money coming in, and there's definitely no jobs coming in. Wow. So models need to really like buckle up and figure out how to ride this wave because the industry is gonna it's not gonna be shut down, but it's gonna be very, very slow for many months to come. But because it's not like when we get back out on the streets, the first thing that people are gonna be doing is, casting models.
Right.
So it's definitely gonna be a process. And I think that the smart models need to rebuild. It's definitely. I mean, I'm saying this with. I'm not one of those people that's like spiritually inspired right now during quarantine, and it's very hard for me to eat healthy or exercise at the moment. So I feel for whoever is struggling.
Right. Right.
But it is a moment where we should be focusing on trying to like survive and first of all, stay positive and stay mentally, healthy and aware. And my personal thing, I'm trying to be inspired for when we can get back to work. But it's definitely really tough for models right now. And I think a lot of people don't understand the way our industry works. Hi, Arlenis. And it's gonna be tough. It's definitely. I think none of us know exactly what's gonna happen and how it's gonna progress. But I do think that the biggest companies who will have budgets to produce stuff after we get back out on the street are going to use the biggest models because they're going to want like super famous faces and whatever. So it's definitely going to be, it's not going to be a good 6 months for new models and struggling models. And it's for independent contractors in general.
Right.
Financially, it's going to be tough.
We're thinking like, all right, the modeling agency has, when you think fashion, people always go back to the models and the designers, but fashion covers everyone. There's a lot of industries. There's the makeup artists, hairstylists, like creative directors, all of these other facets that we hire within that industry, designer. And a lot of their production, like now is their fall collection that's supposed to be coming out, a lot of that has stopped. So it's not just the modeling industry that's suffering, not just models, sorry, it's everyone else within.
Yeah. I was watching the Naomi Campbell and Anna Wintour had a live thing, and Anna Wintour was saying the amount of jobs that fashion creates just in the States. So like worldwide, there's so many people that's how we earn our living through fashion, and it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be a very hard situation. I think that none of us know exactly how the rebuilding is going to happen. And I do think that it is an opportunity for people to reinvent themselves. Fashion is all about reinvention. So I think that the people who find a way to reinvent are going to be the ones that, get to reap those benefits. But it is hard. And it's a hard, I don't know about you, but it's hard to find the motivation to reinvent yourself when you're stuck at home.
But also just like, all right, reinvent myself. What does that mean exactly? Like, what am I doing to reinvent myself now? Like, I'm stuck at home. A lot of girls I see, they're starting to work out. So they're posting a lot of that on their Instagram feed. A lot of people are like showing their personalities more because there's absolutely nothing. So like reinvent for me, when I think about that, is like, ooh, let me cut my hair and dye it black.
No, that is the first thing I've told so many of my models. don't cut your hair. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why women in general, models too, but women in general, like when something happens, the first thing they want to do is cut their hair. Like, no,
I don't know why. It's like, oh, let me change something. Let me just cut my hair off real quick. Yeah. Yeah.
no.
So don't cut our hair.
I mean, some people maybe, but most of them, no, don't cut your hair. I think, for example, so here's something. I think you were part of the last generation of girls who had more of a relationship with the designers.
Yeah.
And so you guys, like from right when you started modeling, you were more immersed in the industry. Nowadays, people like the casting directors and the industry in general is going through models so quickly that the girls barely have time to learn who the key players are in the industry and how to even maneuver their career when then boom, they're already next. So I think this is a time, my biggest advice for models right now would be study. And by that, I mean, learn who the top models have been since the beginning of the modeling industry, who have been the top agents, the top photographers, why. And I think a lot of the models today, they don't realize the doors that many models have opened before them. And they don't, learning that and knowing what other models did and what doors they opened for you helps you in your career. I mean, you were one of the girls that opened a lot of doors for models in Jamaica. You were the first Jamaican model that I had ever heard of in my life.
Thank you, David.
It's true. And I think that I think that it's important. I think the history of our industry is very important. And most people, they work, lawyers, doctors, whatever, they go to college. Models don't go, like, even if you went to college, you don't go to modeling college.
And that's one thing I think.
Heidi.
That's one thing I think is missing is like, there's not an aspect to teach us, there's not a place where they're like, let's teach these girls how to be models. I remember my first time in Paris, like I landed in Paris and the first person I met that night coming from Jamaica, knowing absolutely nothing about the industry, was James Scully. And James Scully was casting for Yves Saint Laurent at that time. And I'm like going to a casting with him and I have no idea what I was doing. My agency at the time, what they did was like, they opened up my suitcase immediately and was just like going through it. And like, I'm from Jamaica. Like I didn't have any stats, 17 years old. What are they going to find in my suitcase? Absolutely nothing. The one coat I had was from my grandfather who was in Germany. I don't know why. And I had that coat. So they went through my suitcase and they're screaming in French and they're like, yeah, what are we going to wear? So I got a t-shirt from my agent to wear to this casting to meet James Scully. And I had no idea that was a big deal at the time. And it was my first person to meet was him. And how they trained me was like, every day I went into the agency, they put like a stack of magazines in front of me. And I had to look through all of those magazines. And at the time it was like Kate Moss was reigning. There was Naomi was in all the magazines. Giselle in all the French magazines. And I had to just go through that and learn poses. Because apparently when I did my first test shoot, it wasn't so great. And so from that's how I learned what was going on. And then I moved to London. And then I understand that, hey, all these castings I'm going to are actually interviews. We don't call them interviews. We call them go-sees and castings. And it's actually interviewing to see our personality. And sometimes you don't get to show your personality, but that's exactly what we're doing. So the problem I think is the agents are missing, and I'm an agent, so I'll take the blame as well. They're not preparing the models enough. Right. And when I started, trust me, I was trying to do it, but it's hard when your bosses are telling you, just send the girl, send her. Like the girl just landed from, I used to take Russian girls to castings that spoke zero English, zero. Arlenis, who's watching us now, she didn't speak English, and they send you to castings and they expect you to have like a full conversation with the client and make them fall in love with you. And these models, these girls don't even know what fashion is. They don't know who the client is. They don't know that a casting director and a stylist and all that stuff. So it's like, it's definitely hard. And I think that if girls were more prepared for it, their careers would last longer. Yeah. I think that like the Cindy Crawfords and Linda Evangelista and a lot of those girls, they were more prepared because they took longer to hit their careers. Your career started like this. Yeah. Like just 2 seconds later, boom, you're a top model. And you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know who you are as a person, but you're a top model. Yeah. So, and I think, for example, Cindy Crawford was a girl who did so many catalogs and stuff that
little by little, it started to happen. And like athletes, they've been playing the sport since they're kids. So by the time they're professional, they know. Most models, they don't know anything. And so all of a sudden, and then you see a career like Kaya Gerber. Like if your mother is Cindy Crawford, I'm not even talking, and I'm not saying she doesn't deserve her career. I think she deserves everything she has.
Right.
But of course, she had a mother who taught her what to do and how to be professional and how to maneuver the world of, you know, and you got, most models don't get that chance. And especially now, like if you think it was tough when you started, nowadays they expect the girl to hit like this. If not, boom, you're done.
No,
Next.
but that's not possible, because even when I started, there were girls that I lived in the models apartment with, and they've been modeling for 6 years and they had no idea what was going on. And so not that they don't have an idea, their career hadn't hit yet. So it's not, I don't think everyone is like that. I was fortunate enough, thank God, that I had a great agency and they pushed the crap out of me. They pushed me really, really well, and I'm super grateful for that. And at the time, they were still kind of like on the line with using the black girls and all of that stuff. So I got in on a great time, and I'm super fortunate and I'm super grateful for that. But a lot of girls it doesn't hit like that, especially black models. And so we don't have, for me coming from Jamaica, I have no idea what modeling was. You know, no one trained me in that. And now I'm more like, man, how can we just get these girls to know what it is, like what the industry really is, you know?
And another thing that, and again, this is a lot of stuff that only models will know how tough it was to learn these things. Ow, I just poked myself. Money. Ooh. You're a brand new girl, and all of a sudden you're like, you got booked for this. This is $10,000. This pays $1,000. This, and they don't sit down and explain to the girls, yes, but we're deducting your flight, and we're deducting this, and deducting that, and like, and even when there's money left over, because there is, it's not. The stability is different. So my advice to models was always like, save your money. Like,
well, David, you on a whole, you personally, like you're super frugal. Like you're always frugal, and you're always like saying, save your money, save your money. But then the thing that's missing from that too is we're 17, and then we have some agents who will say, hey, go buy that new Gucci shoes so that you're at this casting to impress this person, or you're going to this casting, make sure you look this way. Like I've been there. Like my first, even for me, I didn't have to buy anything. My first meeting with Anna Wintour, with that, like I got an outfit from Catherine Malandrino to wear to the casting. So I didn't have to purchase anything, but every casting that I'm going to, I have to look a certain way. If somebody's spending $10,000, giving me $10,000, I have to look like $10,000.
Of course.
That's fact. But the thing is, how do we save? What are we investing in? We have people who will just come in. Alani said she wore a Converse.
Yeah.
Who's your agent? I had to really dress up to meet her for the first meeting. I wish I had wear Converse. I didn't do that. I wasn't that cool. I'm not too cool to wear Converse. So how can we transition that? Because when I had all this money coming in, everyone I met with was like, oh, just give me access to your accounts and we'll figure it out. And then I've heard all these horror stories where
oh my God, I've heard horror stories.
Like they have their money managers are stealing from them. So I'm like, no, I can't give you access to this. Or somebody's like, you need to just invest. I'm like, invest it where? Into what? How does these things work? Because I'm 17 years old, not knowing any of these things, and no one is there to teach us. So I'm trying now to be that person to be like, hey, let's talk about your finances and exactly what's going on with it. So how can the agent, and you're an agent, David.
Let me say something. Yeah. Because I'm not here to attack agents, because I am an agent.
You're an agent and you own your own agency.
Yes. So here's the thing. I think it's also models' responsibility to realize that it is again, they're just turned into a professional in 2 seconds. So athletes got a lot more time, and lawyers and everybody else gets more time before they're called professional. With models, no. It's kind of from 0 to 100 really quickly.
Yeah.
But they need to, you also don't want your agent to sit down and explain everything to you and then stop booking you. You want your agent to be busy getting you jobs. So,
but David, we don't want them to do that because we want them to be working, right? But we also need them to give us the sources.
Of course. So what I was saying is like, but the thing is, I don't know how much agencies will change, especially in New York, because I was an agent in New York for many years. People are on the go. Like, they have no time. They have no feelings. I'm all feelings. No one has any feelings. So, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So it's hard, and most people, they're just focused on, they don't care. Like, you're a new model. If they make you spend $10,000 or $20,000 on outfits and on your hair and on, I mean, I know how much Black girls spend on their hair. It's a lot of money that I didn't know. So that's like, it's tough. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so, and the agents don't care, because if you waste all your money and then your career dies, oh well, there's a new model coming in. Who cares?
Right.
And that's the truth.
That's like, we're treating disposables, and then we never know, David. And that's the thing, is never know like when it's just the light's gonna come off. And now we're in this crisis where a lot of models are unprepared for it financially too. A lot of models, like in that video, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna pay my rent? And we shouldn't be in this position because of the amount of money that we made. I know rates have shifted a lot, or rates have changed, but still, we should have a better handle on this. So what my question is now, what point do models should start thinking about, hey, you know what, I need a plan B? What point should they start like working on something and to get more income?
Today. I think that I've been saying this for a long time, and but after this coronavirus, I think that 90% of models should, as they're modeling day one, they should be working on their plan. It's not plan B, it's like side plan.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to use my modeling career to open up a nail salon, a makeup brand, but day one, not like I'm going to make myself famous and then I'll do that, Right. They should start, and there's a lot of free time when you're at castings, waiting around,
there's a ton of
backstage. So they should be writing books. They should be writing business plans. They should be pitching ideas. They should, this is, especially now, like when we're locked at home, I think all models should take the time to really, truly carve out a career for themselves and not just wait for their agents to do it. Because 99% of the time, it's not going to happen. And it doesn't mean that your agency is good or bad. I hate when models like try to make all agencies like the devil. And no, it's not the agent's responsibility to create your entire life plan. You should do it.
No, so we get that. I get that, what you're saying, David, that it's not the agency's fault, or it's not the agency's, but David, the big but here is that the agency do control us. They do control all the girls. Hey, you can't do this. Your hair has to be this way. You need to be this. You need to be here. You need to be. So they're controlling us. Like, we're like puppets. And it's a bad term to use, but it's true. Like, if we make one move, I remember if I had to do anything, I had to call my agency, and I still have to like call them and be like, hey, can I do this? Can we do this? Can I go here? Can I do this? So they have that on us. So if we think, hey, you know what? I want to start a coffee shop. How can I do that? Oh, don't do that. That's for like girls who aren't making any money. You're making money. You're doing this. You should. So how do we fight against that or work against that?
Educating yourself. And I don't mean going to college. I mean, if you want to go to college, that's good. But I think
you're like, stay away from college.
No, but I think honestly, I've seen all kinds of. I'd say communicate more than ask. I was about to say that. Hi, Michelle Buswell.
Hey, Michelle.
I think that I've encountered all kinds of models, and I've encountered models who are deranged, and they've done 2 fashion shows, and they're like, I want to be a brand, and I want to start a clothing line, and I'm like, okay, honey, chill. Like, let's. So there's the 2 sides to that coin.
You're telling her to chill. She's doing what you said.
No, but. I'm talking when they do it more of like in arrogance, like when they think like, oh, I've arrived,
Okay.
So okay. I do think I've tried to be that person in my agency. And when I worked in New York, I tried to be that person for new faces, trying to advise them on, some of the models that are watching us here, I have worked with them, and I've told girls, like, don't take your clothes off if you don't want to. Girls who I've seen that they were pressured to take their clothes off for certain jobs, and they didn't want to do it, but their agents were like, well, you should, because if you don't do it, you're going to miss out on it. And I've called them on the side, hiding under the desk. And I was like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And it's not going to ruin your career. And so I've tried to be that person. But you can't, I think the models, at least the models who are already modeling now, I mean, for the future, let's hope that agencies, kind of get it. But for the ones that are modeling now, like, don't wait for some nice person to come and give you the best advice. Create it on your own. And that's what I mean about studying. If you study the careers of Tyra Banks, Paulina Porizkova, Cindy Crawford, Heidi Klum, all these girls turned their name into a brand.
Right.
And they transitioned into something. And Carla Bruni, she, became a singer. She, Gail Elliott, who I love, she has a clothing line. So there's so many models who have been able to transition their modeling into other, careers.
Yeah.
Or to side careers because they're still modeling. And I do think, let's say something good about the industry is that I think that the age factor is not mattering anymore. It's like there's more chances for girls in their 30s and their 40s to either start or have a comeback and totally revamp their career. But I do think that a lot of girls need to really sit down and say, this is who I am and this is who I am not. And this is the career that I want, and become their own agent in a way. Like, because I think that you are treated the way that if you show up to a casting or if you show up to your agency and you sit down with your models and you're saying, listen, sorry, with your agents as a model, and you say, listen, I want to have this kind of career. I want to go this way. I want to create these opportunities for myself. But the thing is, I've had girls who have come and asked me for things and say that they want XYZ for their career. And they're girls who are lazy, who are never in shape, who have bad skin. So it's like, really, you want that? Because if you wanted it, you would work your little butt off. So I think pay your dues, learn your craft, know people, because a lot of you guys have opportunities. And again, like you said, like one of the first people you met is James Scully. You were so young that you didn't know you were meeting such an important person. So you don't know how to nurture that relationship. And I have so many girls who I know that they started from zero and their career hit and they were working with the top designers, photographers, but they didn't really know them, and they didn't really, because it's hard. People are not giving you that chance anymore. It's harder.
So, David, when I was modeling like nonstop, it was hard for me to be like, let me try to foster this relationship when I'm in New York one day, London the next week. And then now it's easier because of social media. You can connect with them. And then also, I don't even feel like if it's a real relationship. So it was really hard. And then we also grew up in the age where it's just like, everything was so secretive. Like my modeling career was extremely secretive. If I'm working with Steven Meisel, I can never mention that I'm shooting for Victoria's Secrets. Like I can never mention that I'm doing VS. And now everyone wants to do VS and everyone's talking about VS. And if I'm on a Vogue set, I can't be like, oh my gosh, I'm shooting for Vogue today. Like everything was so secretive. And it just felt like there was this curtain between everyone. And the same thing, we missed, like when I was in Mexico last year doing the fashion week with you, what I realized that was really missing from my modeling career was a community. Like I never fostered a great community. Like I was on Instagram a lot last year, posting a lot. And I realized, man, I wish I had built up this community. Even like messaging girls now, I'm like, I didn't take the time to foster any community. Of course, I still have great friends in the industry, but I never fostered those relationships because I just felt, when are we going to be together? When are we going to actually sit down and have dinner? And recently, last year, one of my friends, she had a baby and she had a baby shower and we're all together. And I'm like, this is the first time we've all been together. We've never sat down and have dinner or any of that stuff. And I'm like, wow, why can't we weren't able to foster that because there was so many competition between us. And especially for Black models, I felt like at the time there was like, all right, here's Jaunel. Jaunel's going to get this job. So I didn't have a lot of Black friends. And I can say this now, but now I have a lot of friends who are Black, but it was just like, there was so much competition. And I remember one night we were in Milan and, we had style.com at that time and they had backstage photos and there's all these photos of us backstage, and one of the girls who happened to be back, and she's talking, she goes, man, there's so many pictures of you and there's not that many pictures of me. So that didn't make me feel good or want to like, I was like, why are we competing? We're doing the same shows, we're in the same area. So fostering community for me at that time was really hard. Now that I'm older and now I know that better, that hey, just let it pass and be better at that. But how can we do better with doing that? Like, not competing with each other when it comes to community, because we're all going through the same thing and we don't have an outlet to speak to it because no one can really understand what we're going through.
I think that models need to realize that they have more power than they think, and it's hard to teach a girl when they're brand new, but they do have power and they have a voice. And like you, when you started, there was no social media. When I started as an agent, there was no social media.
Yeah.
Now there is. And now we have an opportunity to change things. And I do think that, I mean, you were one of the last girls that lived that whole, like, there's one black girl of the moment, one black girl for show. And it sucks.
And I'm so glad it's changed. I am so glad it has changed.
Thank God.
I was at a show, David, and it was 5 black girls at the show. And the lead stylist would walk up to me and goes, man, there's so many of you here. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, there's 5 black girls. And I'm like, how dare you? At a cast of 30.
I wish I would have recorded the phone calls when I called people to book models. Mm-hmm. And this is, Arlenis is watching. I was trying to book Arlenis.
Arlenis is keeping you accountable.
and literally people would be like, oh, we already have a black girl, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have Jaunel Iman, or oh, we have Cecily, or we have Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody ever says, oh, we have 25 blonde girls with blue eyes. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, who cares? And honestly, if your fashion show has 25 black girls, or if it has 2, it doesn't, if they're your favorite model, it shouldn't be because you're trying to have 10 black girls.
Yeah.
Like, it should just be like, you chose your favorite 30 girls, whatever they are. Like, so I do think it is changing, but I think this is specific to black models who I have so many of my best friends are black models. Who started before, they missed that chance. And they had their 15 seconds of fame, and then they were replaced with the new black girl.
Yeah.
And so this is hopefully a lot of those girls are listening right now. This is your chance to take back your place. Yeah. Because whoever the industry that chose to replace you because there was a new black girl, you have a lot of worth, and the experience that you all have, and I tell you this all the time, like all the shows you walked in, all the photographers that shot you, and all the stylists that have worked for you, you have a lot under your belt, and that is worth something. So even though you're not the hot girl of the moment, you have a lot of worth. And I think that a lot of you guys don't realize this. This is your moment to take back those opportunities and to reach out to those people and say, hey, I'm here and I'm still beautiful, but guess what? I have triple up here than what I had when I was new, you know? I have so much more to offer you here and here. I can speak now. I can have a conversation with you, and I can establish a friendship with you, and I think you can be much more of a muse to designers and photographers now because you have points of reference and you have more to say and you have more life experiences to draw on. So I think that most of the girls that started modeling I would say from 2008 and back need to come back with force, but don't wait for your agent to create a comeback for you. Like create it for yourself. Like you are somebody and you have a lot to offer to this industry and you've done a lot. And don't let people make you feel like you're old or you're older. Yes, you're not the hot new thing. No, but who cares? Naomi's not the hot new thing and people still love Naomi. Yeah. But I think it's because she believes it. Naomi Campbell, like you can tell that girl, she believes it herself. So she projects that when you meet her, like she intimidates you. Like she's one of the few models that when I meet, I'm like, she's intimidating.
Because of her courage and her confidence. But that takes years, David, to develop that. And then, so why people can't develop that is because, one, you stop working, so you lose your confidence right away thinking that it's you. 2, your agents stop calling. The phones, it's no longer easy to book you. So the agents stop picking the phone up and making the calls and actually doing their job. So it's like, you lose all your confidence, your thing that you built up with rejection, like that starts to come in and eating at you. So it's a bit harder for you to be like, all right, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. For example, you know how many agencies I've seen and they all said no for whatever reason. And it's like, hey, I have this, my resume in modeling is through the roof, but then yet no agency wants to sign you because you're too old or you're too this. And I'm thinking for my white counterparts, they're still with agencies, right? And my age, they started with me and they're still doing their thing. So it's like our confidence has just been broken. Our confidence broke down so much that it's really hard to be like, all right, let me try to be Naomi Campbell now.
Sorry, I'm plugging my phone in or it's gonna die. I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I get where you're coming from, and I understand how that can ruin your or break down your confidence.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, this is the opportunity now. Like, this is the moment for for all these models. 1 second. This is the opportunity for all of these models to take back what is theirs and to really, and not just like, I wouldn't even call it a comeback because it's like an opportunity to do much more than whatever you guys did.
Yeah.
In your hot moment.
Yeah.
This is, and honestly, like, of course you need agents. Yes, you need an agency, but you can create it by yourself. Like right now, you all have a voice that you didn't have when you started through social media. And I think that you need to, I'm talking to all models out there, you need to show that voice and have a, I think they need to, first of all, teamwork. So instead of viewing other models as your competition, all those models that are kind of on the same boat should unite and together think of ideas and ways to rebrand your career, to do, for example, and I draw a lot on the 90s models because they did a lot of stuff. And that's what, again, that is why I think everybody needs to study what people in the industry did before. So Naomi Campbell has said multiple times on millions of interviews that because of Linda and Christy, she was booked. Because Linda and Christy would tell designers, if you don't book her, I won't do your show.
But that day they had the power. They had the power back then. Do you think if we did that,
yes,
I think would work?
Yes. Yeah, it would work. Not on every single person, no, but it would work. It would work 100%. Because and that's the thing, models need to believe that they do have that power. But it's not just about using that power in a bitchy way, in a like, it's about saying, hey, I have all of this to offer as a model, and my counterparts, my other friends who are also models, we all have that. And we are here to get, like, we're pitching an idea to you. Imagine, for example, if you and 5 of your close model friends thought of an idea, of a concept for a campaign, for a, whatever, for a social media, like video or something, and literally together called a designer and we're like, can we go see you? And you show up to his office, the 5 of you looking amazing. And you're like, hey, we have this idea and we think you should do it. But if you don't do it, somebody else will. And you're going to miss out on the opportunity. Trust me, a lot of those designers will be like, but you guys, a lot of you models are trained somewhere like that you don't have the power, that you can't go create the job. You have to wait for the designer to call you and invite you to a casting.
Yeah, I'm loving this. And a lot of people in the chat are loving this.
The dress. If you come up with an idea, come up with a concept, inspire the designer, invite him to dinner at your house, yada, 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 and create that job and that opportunity for you, the dress will end up being made in your size. And they will design something that flatters you, you know? So don't sit around waiting for your agent to come up. Most agents, not all, but most agents in New York and Paris and Milan, especially, they're lazy. They just want it easy. Like, and it's so much easier to book a brand new girl because she's quiet.
Exactly.
She does what you ask her to do, and she's new. And I do think that after this coronavirus, people are going to stray a little bit from new and go more for vintage. And I don't think you and I are vintage because we're
vintage, right?
Still very young and beautiful. But no, I do think that people want...
One second, David, before you run into that thought, because now they have a lot of travel restrictions, so you can't be going back and forth. And then a lot of people, like even before this Corona thing got really serious and it shut down, a lot of people are asking, hey, have you been outside of the country? Where was you last? Michelle's like, I'm going
No.
to. A lot of people are asking girls, hey, have you been outside of the country? What's your travel? So a lot of people now are gazing their scopes to like, they're more focused in that area and
Yes.
not booking girls who are traveling a lot. So what is that?
And people also like they care more. I mean, I think they care a lot more about your personal message as well. So I think designers are gonna care more about models who it's not for me. It's not just like I'm gonna take your photo and post it as my campaign. It's like I want a model that when she posts it on her Instagram, everything else that's on that Instagram also inspires me and goes with my brand. The kind of woman that she is, and the kind of stuff that is she a mom? Is she, is she into surfing? Is she into dogs? Is she planting trees? Is she like all that stuff? Is she a skater? Is she a chef? So I think all of that matters more now, and people are paying more attention to it. But I will tell you, like as an agent and as a designer, because I also have a small clothing line, I'm much more attracted to models who believe that and who have that power and show it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ada is messing with you. She goes, what do you think of bloggers?
I think listen, bloggers have their thing, and I mean I'm talking about fashion bloggers because that's the only kind of bloggers that I would care about. I think again, there's bloggers who are full of crap, and all they post is like, look how pretty I am, look how rich I am, look how many bags I am, and then there's actual fashion bloggers who, like for example, Man Repeller started as a fashion blogger. I wouldn't even call her that anymore, but she has substance, and that's where I'm going. Substance. You cannot have substance as a model if you have no clue about the history of modeling.
Right.
You cannot have any substance.
So
Even
David,
if you're
what should a model's Instagram look like? Because I remember when I came down to Mexico, you totally took my phone and like cleared out my Instagram. And I'm like, wait, what happened? So what should our Instagram look like now, especially seeing that we're home now? How can we rework that to see?
Okay, so here's the thing, my opinion about models and their Instagram. First of all, you don't want it to look like a blogger. You don't want to, models need to, like a true top model needs to be able to work for all the different brands, as many brands as possible.
Exactly.
So you don't want to be too specific. If your whole Instagram is all about food or all about soccer, or you pigeonhole yourself too much. So you don't want to show too much. I don't like to see models. I mean, yes, show me like your personality and your real life, but I don't want to see you all the time with your messy hair and your messy bedroom and you're like, come on. Like a little, so it should, if you're trying to work with high-end brands, your content needs to be more high-end. So even if you're doing something like, even if you're grocery shopping, like
make it fashion.
yes, like for example, my friend Alejandra here, who's trying to make fun of me on Instagram.
She's making so much fun of you.
Yeah, she's a creative director, and she like when she does a stupid little pie recipe, the way she posts the photos, you can tell that woman has an eye. She's clean. She has elegance. So that's what you should show. So no matter what kind of content you're trying to show us, other than your full-on like modeling, portfolio pictures that you're uploading, it should all have that level, that taste level, and that elegance, and a little bit of less is more. Don't overpost. Like you don't. A lot of the models now, they're posting all this crap. Like I'm bored. I'm home. Read a book, honey. Don't post. Like you're bored. Turn your phone off. Like, I don't want to see your ramblings at 2 a.m. because you're bored. Like, go read. Go watch a movie. Go hang out with your friends.
I love you, David.
So, and honestly, again, I hope this is like one of the biggest things that people keep, like, study now. All of you models that are watching this, you should be able to tell me all of the top models of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, like the past. And who the designers, who else had they designed for? Like Tom Ford. It's not just Tom Ford. He used to design, like you walked for Tom Ford when he was at YSL and at Gucci. Like you should know all this stuff, Yeah.
David, that's awesome. So now I want to talk to you because now Mariana is on the cover of Elle Mexico. Yes. And they shot it using a drone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, they went to her house.
Wow. But that is beautiful. Like I saw that and I'm like, this is amazing. So is this the future of fashion, or is this just for now? Is this how we're dealing with it?
I think it's another option. I don't think it's the future, but I think it's one of the many options that there are. Yes. especially for right now with this, I've seen so many photo shoots on like FaceTime and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm all about technology, but people need to like, you as a model, you need to inspire the designer, the stylist, the photographer, the editor. So like, it's a little harder to inspire sometimes, like with a drone that's like, I don't know how many feet away.
Yeah.
So like, we will go back to like older ways of working. And I do think that people will I think brands will start to become more loyal to their models. And I think it needs to become like it was back in the, 80s and 90s. Like designers had a lot more of a relationship with the models, but it's also the model's job. And it is harder, but I have seen so many girls who really focus. Most of the girls, they start modeling, they get invited to the parties, and all they want to do is go get drunk and like, I'm so pretty and like, look at me, like, selfies at the club, whatever. Like, that's not going to bring you a career, honey. Like,
yeah, that has never worked. That has never worked for you to bring a career.
No, but it's like as soon as you become a model, you get invited to all the parties and you get all the free alcohol and but that's not going to help you build a career. That's actually going to help you derail your career.
Yeah. So what builds a career, David?
I think it's the personality of the model, and I think I think the true models inspire you, and they keep, like, for example, Christy Turlington is an example of a girl who, I don't know if she has or has not had much surgery. I don't think she has, because I met her recently and I was talking to her like this close, and I was asking, I was asking her all the questions, and she was full of wrinkles and she was gorgeous. So I know a lot of models in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who have had a lot of surgery and who have had no surgery. And I'm all for both. Like, do your thing, but inspire me. Tell me something. And how can you inspire if you don't even know what you're doing? Yeah. It's kind of like, I could never imagine someone saying, I want to play pro soccer or play pro basketball, and I don't even know who the top players are and the top coaches and the top teams. It's not just about the players. Yeah. So it's the same with models. It's like, you need to learn. You need to know who's out there. And don't wait. Yes, in a perfect world, I wish agencies would hire more people to just focus on the girls and educate them and teach them. Yes. But today it's not happening. I hope it does, but we can't wait around for it to happen. Models need to take action, and they need to do it themselves. So you want to be the best? Honey, study. Every magazine, every blog, every Instagram, and know your craft. Know what to do, so that when you meet the top photographers, they started looking up at admiring other photographers and other models from other times.
And they started.
That's what they used as inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been at many photo shoots where the designer's like, oh, we're trying to go for something very like Tyra Banks or Tyra everybody knows, but like for like a Beverly Johnson and like Iman, and the model's like, huh?
Who is this? Yeah.
Like, how? Come on, like, you need to know. And obviously everybody always knows like the girls who have 1 million followers on Instagram, but what about all the, what about
all the actual models? Yeah.
All the other models who have done amazing things, so you need to know, and you need to know that, for example, if you want to get to Anna Sui, like Steven Meisel needs to like you, right? Or vice versa. Like, if you, like, for example, if you don't have no way of getting to Steven Meisel, but if you become friends with Pat McGrath or Anna Sui through some other job, then you're closer to Steven Meisel. So like, you need to know who is who works with who doesn't work with who, etc. And you need to take it into your own hands. And I think that especially the girls from your generation, Michelle's right there, but like all those girls from your generation, you guys were still a generation where the girls were walking with so much power. Most of the girls nowadays, they walk like,
but that's what they're going for. Isn't that what everyone's going for? Because that's all they're casting. But we're still there. Michelle's still there. All the girls are still there, but they're not casting them.
Yes and no. Because, I mean, most of the casting directors, yes, they are going for that look. But I think that the girls because I still see it every show, there's that random girl who started when I started, who's like in her 30s or more. And those girls are getting there because they're also... some of them, they're making phone calls. They're going to dinner with these designers, with these stylists. They're not getting in through the front door. They're getting in through the side door, through the top window, through the back door. Yeah. So yes, again, you can't wait for them to like want to book you. You need to make them want to book you. So
Yeah.
if you and I do think that there are still models who have that. Anna Cleveland is a girl who like she has
Oh, Anna has, yeah.
her
Anna
very
has done a
specific
good
walk.
job of like reinventing herself a lot, a lot.
And Carly Kloss and Coco Rocha, like there are
Yeah.
still some girls, and they have very specific walks. And no matter what show they do, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like you can put a bag over her head, and you can tell who the girl is.
Wait, there's
So,
one question, David, because we're almost out of time. It says, "What's the best way to learn, or what's the first steps to get there? What's the best way to learn? Things that Joe, I don't know. What's the best way to learn what? If you're talking about studying, the best way is to go into a library and get all these old magazines and start flipping through them. That's how I learn. Start
And
watching.
you can also literally just Google like top
Yeah.
models of the 90s and then read about every single girl. And then top models of the 80s and top models of the, and honestly on YouTube, you can literally Google like Prada fashion show 2003.
I'm talking, you can tell how old school I am. I'm talking about going into like
The library.
When you're like, you can just Google it. I'm like, yeah, you can do that too.
I mean, I like old books, you know, I own a bunch, but I also just Google the crap out of every little thing. And one article or one model leads you to the next. But it's like in general study, but I do think that this is a time for models to really take the power back in their careers and don't wait for the agent to create your career. Do not, and this is, hear me out, do not wait for the casting director to book you. Go straight to the designer, go straight to the stylist. How? I don't know. Figure it out. Find the ways, you know, like, and again, like I said, you have so many models who all like you're friends with this designer, but this model is friends with this one. So you need to go to dinner or coffee with other models and literally sit and give each other advice. How do we, hey, I would love to do XYZ. I would like to be the first, I don't know, like Mae Musk signed a career, a cosmetics deal at 70.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that that's what it, but you need to be informed. So, and you need to, I think people treat you the way you present yourself. So if you present yourself to a client, a designer, etc., with the knowledge of like, I know what I'm worth, and no, I'm not 20 years old and I'm not like stick thin, but I am this and this and this, and I know how to sell a garment, and I know how to walk better than half of those girls, and I know how to project, and I know how to give an interview, and I will know how to, like, or I would like to walk your show because I want to film, like me and these, for example, me and these 5 girls, we want to walk your show together, we want to do something special, which is XYZ, but we also want to film it backstage and create a video about how all of us are in our 30s now, and how different it is backstage when we started, and how different it is as a woman to model in your 30s than in your 20s. So all of those things, I think a lot of designers will be attracted to that. A lot of them will not, but that's
fine. You just need one. We always think we need so many. We just need one person to say yes.
Yeah.
Michelle, I'm with you. I'm really bad at this stuff. Like, I'm really, really bad. And David, and this is why I wanted to bring David on. David is so good at this. Yeah, your images do sell, Michelle.
No, Michelle sells a lot, trust me.
Yeah.
Here, and listen, you can gather some girls and then FaceTime me when you're with them, and I'll yell at all of you together and motivate you.
Instead of just yelling at me.
But here's the thing. Some people might just say yes. They might not even love your idea. They might just say, okay. And then the idea happens, and and again, when I say sell it, it's like sell it on your social media, on your face, on like when you show up backstage.
I see your question. I'm gonna ask it. So Lily's asking, what about models who have YouTube? Is that something y'all like?
Yes,
David loves YouTube. He's just like, Jaunel, why are you on YouTube? He loves YouTube.
I love YouTube. But again, I don't want to see a YouTube of like stupid, like, hi, look how pretty I am. Look, no, it's like, show me a little more. Like, tell me, show me, for example, go to your next booking, show up early and film everything and show me, like, how does it work? Like, what is the place like? What lights is the the photographer using? Why are they using this space and not that space? Why, you know, like, to ask when you're in the makeup chair, turn your phone on and show the makeup artist and ask the makeup artist, why are you putting this makeup on me? Why are you not doing this?
So just be real.
Again, what Alejandra says, true content, like show us, and it's not even about being real, because you can be, if you're dumb and you're putting dumb stuff, you're being real, but it's not real. It's show us something, educate us. Like
Right.
for you and all of these models who are watching right now, for you guys, a backstage is normal. You've been to a million backstages. Other people have never, ever been, nor will they ever go to a backstage of a fashion. Show them that. Create a universe for us. Educate us. Show us why. You know, like you and Michelle, who's right here, like you have worked with Stephen Meisel, you've worked with Stephen Klein, you've worked with Oscar de la Renta, like the top of the top of the top. Call one of them and go interview them and post it on your YouTube. Trust me, a lot of people will want to know what these people think and why they designed X, Y, and Z. And maybe you can even ask them about like, oh, I remember when I did your show back in whatever year, and here's the photo. What was your inspiration for that collection? What, if you could go back and change something, what would you change? You know?
Yeah, this is awesome, like, David.
Yeah.
David, show us I love you. Thank you so much. Like you're the best. You're the absolute best. Mwah. I really love you. But we have 4 minutes left because they only give us an hour. You've given us a lot of advice, right? And I just want to know, what are you thinking now? How can you give some girls some hope in terms of, all right, I'm home, I'm not working. What needs to happen? And you've answered that a lot, but I just want to just do a big recap and just be like, what's our next move? What's our next move?
Try to stay healthy. Try to work out. Don't try to be an influencer. You are a model. Be a model. Like, you're not a chef. You're a model. If you know how to cook, show us your food. But like, you are a model. So keep modeling as your number one main focus and build on that. File for unemployment. I mean, that's another conversation, but yes, save your money. Save your money. When we go back and you start working, save your money. Your first paycheck, put it all away. Your second, your third, save your money. Come up with ideas. Call your friends who are in the industry and come up with ideas of how to inspire, how to create, how to come up with a fashion film, you know, do something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Create new ideas so that things that you can do now and things that you can do when we go back, and educate yourself. Again, stay educated. Models on TikTok. I don't know how to use TikTok very well yet, but I did see Coco Rocha on my friend's phone, and I saw her TikToks and they were fun. So I just think, again, if you want to make $1 million, you should sell yourself as $1 million. So if your content is crap, then you are worth crap, in my opinion. So
that's really nice.
So yeah, and so if you show me in your content that you have no idea about the industry, then I won't respect you that way. If you show in your content that you know and you post about designers and stylists and models and things that happened in the past, and like, for example, you should all know about the Battle of Versailles, which is all about models and what they did in Paris years ago. So like, all of those things give you something to build on, for sure. Yeah. And if any other models have any questions and they want to hit me up, let me know. I'm happy to help.
Yes. David's at his Instagram is there. You can just follow him and text him. And he'll probably give you your number and call you. Like, this is David, this is him being real. This is me and him when we're sitting down and talking. And I wanted him to inspire us, which he did. So David, thank you so much for being honest, and thank you for your time. You're the absolute best. Guys, this will be on my Instagram for another 24 hours, and I'll save it. Hopefully I can save it. It will help me save it. So you can come back.
Save it on highlights, yeah.
On highlights?
I think so.
Yeah. So if I can do that, then it will be there. David, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you and adore you, and I hope to see you soon. And take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye, guys.